Hello, everybody. Welcome to our very first SuccessCast podcast this week. Obviously, we've done one previous week where we went over our success hacking framework, but this week I wanted to go through a very good example. I found this one online. This is via the controversial Balaji S. Srinivasan. Of course, everyone in crypto is a bit controversial, but put that aside, if they have fantastic success hacks, you can't ignore if the source is a good or a bad human being. Personally, I like Balaji. I think he's very smart, and I came across this gem. Leave the work that puts you to sleep till the evening, then you can either get it done or you fall asleep early. Repeat. Again, leave the work that puts you to sleep till the evening, then either get it done or fall asleep early. Repeat. I'm surprised to see that this only had a couple hundred likes. For someone of his stature, usually expect far, far more. But I just published a blog post about why I think this has the potential to be a very, very successful personal growth hack for your life on our blog. I will perhaps see the link in the Periscope title. I'm still obviously new to Periscope and trying to figure out how this works, but regardless, you can read the summary on our blog at blog.redscore.com. But seeing as you are here, let's look back at our framework for what I argue makes for a successful growth hack. And I so far have identified three particular dimensions, and I think this is certainly 2 out of 3, perhaps even 3 out of 3. So to remind you again what these different components are, I think a success hack is very useful if it has compounding benefits. That is, the longer that you implement it, the more likely it is to produce greater returns over time. I think it's useful if it has diffuse benefits, so it is able to have potentially many great outcomes, regardless of what the particular outcome is. And finally, I like it if it's easy to implement. So by the last 2 criteria, I would argue that this is a home run. So if you're leaving the work that will put you to sleep until bedtime, then certainly you will get diffuse benefits. Either you get a good night's sleep, which is has some merit. As someone who myself has trouble sleeping, obviously it's very valuable. Or you get your busy work knocked out. So it's uncontroversial that you get the second benefit. Is it easy to implement? Absolutely. Most people have enough control over the schedule that they know they're doing the final hour. Oftentimes they're just doing something simple like watching TV or watching Netflix. If that's your reading time, like a lot of people, that might not be as good, but people have a lot of free time to experiment with these things. Alternately, if you do spend your time watching TV, there's no reason you can't try and do busy work while watching TV. So on 2 dimensions, this is a phenomenal growth hack. The first one, does it produce compounding benefits? I could see where this could go either way. So there's basically 2 possible outcomes if you are doing your busy work at nighttime. One, what you might just fall asleep and you would get a better night's sleep and you'd be well rested in the morning. I would argue that doesn't have compounding benefits. A better night's sleep is good, but beyond about 4 hours, I don't think you get extra benefit from 4 hours sleep versus 8-10 hours sleep. In fact, I'd argue the opposite, because if you're able to cram kind of the low brain power work into some of the ebbs throughout the day, then you're better off having 20 hours awake. So getting extra sleep, I don't see how that produces compounding benefits. I could be persuaded the other direction. But I do see where if you are more productive during your kind of productive waking day because you've knocked out your busy work at night, then the argument can be made that it produces compounding benefits. So I'd say at the very least there's a risk, positive risk, that this could have these convex benefits. So again, leaving the work that puts you to sleep until the evening, then you either get your busy work knocked out or you fall asleep early, I think is a solid 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 on our framework. And kind of more generally, one thing I've noticed from among very successful people is they have a very strong ability to compartmentalize different kinds of work into different times of day. So before or after you've worked out, you have a different energy. Before or after lunch, you are probably going to be very sleepy after lunch. So the ability to compartmentalize and push this work into the right time of day is great. Obviously, as I mentioned in the blog post, if you are doing the busy work at nighttime, it has the opportunity for diffuse benefits. If you're doing the busy work right after lunch, you're probably not going to be getting any benefits, because if you fall asleep at work, you'll probably get fired. Many of us do not have the luxury of being able to take a walk after lunch, because they only have an hour for lunch. So anyway, reviewing Balaji Srinivasan's very strong success hack. Leave the work that puts you to sleep until the evening. Then you either get it done or you fall asleep early. Rest, rinse, and repeat. Thank you very much. I look forward to talking to you all soon.